Some principles that also I find very important no matter what kind of day is this. So one system. Try to keep all of these things in one system. This gentleman before mentioned he has 4 calendars he has to manage with. So you're probably spending a lot of time just managing your calendar-ness in addition to getting stuff done. So if you can collapse things down to one calendar, you can be more efficient. I used to, so I have 1 calendar for work and for non-work stuff. When I used paper, I had this one binder that I carried around for 12 years, and I used it for work and non-work stuff. On electronic calendars, as you might have guessed, I use Google Calendar, and you can create sub-calendars, and I have one for work, one for me. Let's see. We'll talk more about keeping, you'll see the one system theme in other slides. Next principle, conserving brain power. You only have a certain amount of brain power each day and at any given moment. So at a given moment, if you're having distractions, you have less brain power for the work that you're trying to do. So we're going to talk about how to get rid of distractions, avoid interrupts. And I know a lot of people feel that like maybe I talk to a lot of people that, wait, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll save that for the slide when we talk about it. But as sysadmins, we are very much hired for our brains, not usually for our good looks. And so when I say, our brain only has a certain amount of power or resource each day, don't be insulted. I know a lot of people who say, Tom, you've said try to write things down. Keep a written to-do list. Don't keep it in your brain. Well, I'm a smart person. I can keep my whole to-do list in my brain. Well, that's awesome. That's great that you can do that. But if you instead write things down and don't use your brain for that, that gives you this much more brain power to work on your stuff. So Einstein was reported to, and this may be apocryphal, but it's a useful story. Einstein didn't know his phone number. When people asked him, what's his phone number, he'd say, do you have a phone book? And they'd say, yes. He said, well, I'm listed. It's under Princeton. Because he thought that those 7 digits in his brain might take up space that could otherwise be used for physics, and he wanted them to be used for physics. He also believed strongly in routines. So we want to mass produce things that we do often. I mentioned my meeting with my boss story. Einstein had a closet with 7 of the same outfits, and he wore his Monday outfit on Mondays and his Tuesday outfit on Tuesdays, because that was one less decision he had to make in the morning. I feel that I can make about 10 decisions every day. When I was younger, I could probably make about 20 every day, but I'm getting older. And so I find that, if in the morning I have to, pick what I'm going to wear, pick what I'm going to eat, decide how I'm going to get to work, by the time I get to work, I'm like down to 5 decisions. So I'm not saying I have the same exact breakfast every day, but I do walk the same path to the train station every day, which was through using routines. And another nice thing about routines is if you're going to repeat something the same way every time, you get better at it a lot faster. And also you notice small improvements every time you do it. So you get an evolutionary benefit. So when I moved 3 years ago, I wasn't sure how the best way to walk to my train station was. And so the first day it actually took me like 20 minutes because I sort of meandered around. Now I can do it in about 8 or 10 minutes. But one thing I found as I was doing this and repeating it and getting a little bit better every day was that my house is really almost exactly between 2 train stations, and they're almost equal distance. And then one day I discovered that my town is sort of on a hill. So it dawned on me, I could walk downhill to work in the morning, and on the way home, if I go to the other train station, I could walk downhill home also. So I walk downhill to work both ways every day. And lastly, we want to use the same tools everywhere. I mentioned this before. I use the same software system for my work calendar and my personal calendar. And that means I get twice as much practice at getting good at using this software. Now, what we're going to learn here today, it's a lot of different habits. And developing a habit takes time. Takes about 10,000 hours of doing something consistently to develop a habit. That's a lot of time. And so if you can find lots of excuses to use your habit, you're going to develop it faster. Questions, comments? Yes?
Where did you get the 10,000 hours?
When did I get the 10? Where I get most of my information, /dot. So it's very debatable how long it takes to invent a habit. The conventional wisdom is it takes 21 days of doing something consistently to develop a habit. But this summer, someone published a paper where they tried to find where that 21-day quote came from, and it turns out it came from a paper like in the 50s that was actually talking about something else. And so there's a lot of new thinking about is it consistency, is it number of hours? I just know it's 21 days is probably a minimum. You're right. Good. Right. So 10,000 hours was to become an expert at something, as opposed to develop into a habit. Right. Okay.